Hello everybody and welcome to the second to last race of the season here in the Hardee's National Series. Jack Porkins and Brandon Crasta starting on the front row, and Corey Williams, Bobo Jones rounding out the second. Diego Yepes and Peter Onjak rounding out the third. Really good runs from both of those guys, and the green flag is out. We're racing here at Pike's Peak. Into one, looks like Williams and Yepes got a really good run, and Crasta just got tight on the outside. Bobo Jones all over the CM Racing Car's back bumper, and Srigley already getting a run on Onjak, and so is Kev Shearer. The top three in the championship under a blanket right here. Jones, Srigley, and Shearer right here, and BBJ in fourth is also right up there. So just outside the top 10. For the 45 car. We know he has just been on a tear lately in the late season, getting the most wins on the season. Still sitting fourth in points though, just not enough to catch up to this guy. Kev Shearer, he's been so consistent all year long. It's been almost unbeatable, as some of his title contenders say. And Shearer is just continuing to put in good runs like he is today, getting passed down the inside by Daniel Day. But either way, just putting in good runs every single week. I believe last week at Atlanta was the only time he finished outside the top 15. So he's just had an absolutely amazing season. Unfortunately, having some bad luck where it really counts towards the end of the season. But I think he's got a good enough gap to keep that title in his hands for now. Speaking of that, his teammate gets really tight off the corner, and Shearer has to take some really quick action and go down his inside. Shearer going down the inside of Austin Miller. Qualified insanely well today for Flipside Motorsports. He got his first top 5 of the year at Homestead, and just managing to have another good qualifying run here today and keeping it up here. So good on the 18 team and Flipside Motorsports. Scott Roush trying to get down to the number 18's inside. Shade Eves also up here just outside the top 10. Same with RJ Bishop and Cole Baker. Just looking through the field, seeing who's side by side and all that stuff. Srigley and Hart seem to have gotten it sorted out from getting stuck in the high side. Noah's still kind of up there, but Srigley at least figured it out for now. The Fisher Motorsports cars did not get off to a good start right there, and slid down the order really quickly. Jack Porkins keeping the lead, and Yepes kind of falling back. Bobo Jones getting around Corey Williams, and Daniel Day probably going to follow suit. 42 has been looking really fast. Really early on in this race, and hopefully that speed can keep up for the 42. Daniel Day and this team have just kind of found something on the shorter tracks, like at Memphis where he won the race, and this track is pretty similar to Memphis in shape and length, to be honest, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have the same car and the same setup. And, well, if that's the same car and the same setup, it is a really good combination, because they're up here in fourth place behind Bobo Jones and Diego Yepes, trying to trail down Jack Porkins. Jones getting ever closer to the 77, and he's just going to try to make a move down his inside. You can see him peeking already. And Jones into turn 1, he's going to have a little look, and he's going to make the move. He's going to commit down the inside in the 77. Diego Yepes is going to get passed for second place and getting forced up the track. Daniel Day trying to follow the number 9, getting down the inside of the 77. That's another spot for Day in the top 5. And they're just closing the gap to the leaders as they go around the 77. And Day, he's going to go down the inside and make a move of his own, sending Bobo up the track. Bobo going to try to make it stick around the outside, but Day not having any of it. His car's rotating really good through the center. And Day going to try to take the position away from Bobo Jones. Diego Yepes going to sit back in line, and Corey Williams slid back a little bit from second place early on, but still up here in the top 5 trying to regain those positions back. Day, though, losing time in the leader now. As I said, they were closing in on him. Not even a lap or two later, they faded about 3 or 4 tenths behind Porkins, but Day has cleared Jones. And Yepes trying to do the same thing that Day just did and follow him through up to 3rd place for Yepes. As Jack Porkins is going to continue leading this race, Daniel Day just going to continue to keep trying to cut down that gap here at Pike's Peak. Daniel Day has looked really, really good in the past couple laps, catching up to Porkins. And he is all over his bumper trying to get something, but the 41 is really, really fast, and it's kind of hard to pass a car that's got clean air. So, gonna go look a little further down here. I thought I saw Austin Miller trying to pass the current points leader, Kev Shearer, and that's what he is doing. Austin Miller getting his elbows out and competing with the big dogs once again, and just having a really good end of the season so far for this number 18, keeping this car in the top 30 in owner points. And Miller, just a really, really good rookie performance from this guy, and I hope someone picks him up. He really only DNQ'd 1 race this year in a car that probably should have DNQ'd multiple races, and this team seems like they've just found something mid-season and become a midfield team. And well, when you become a midfield team, you get to be a part of certain battles if you can figure out your car right. So the 18, I guess, have just figured something out again really early on in the race. But we got 100 laps, so anything can happen in this race. I wouldn't say that he's guaranteed a good finish no matter where he runs today. Jack Porkins is trying to guarantee himself back into 1st place, but Daniel Day denying him of that, passed him while we weren't looking. But either way, Daniel Day up into the lead, just looking like he's the fastest car out here today. Texan putting on another good performance at these very short ovals. Not really sure what to call this track because it doesn't look like a short track, but it kind of drives like a short track. I don't know. Wondering what you guys would call this. I'm taking any suggestions. Cole Baker is trying to get down the inside of Kev Shearer, trying to get up into 11th place. Scott Roush took the top 10 position away from Kev Shearer, which I thought they were battling for. Either way, though, trying to get by Kev, but Cole is not going to have the kind of car the Zero has, so he's not going to make it stick. Jacob Hart going down the inside of Williams and Austin Miller. And Miller up into the top 5 for that lap, but Jacob Hart trying to take that position away in the Flying Aces Camaro. And the 05 up into 5th place over the 18. Either way, a great run for both of these teams. Up here fighting up with the main protagonists of the Hardee's National Series of Curtis Racing, AFRT, and CM. Same with Hydra. They've really taken it up to the big dogs this year and have shown a lot of good pace. They've had 4 cars this year. I'm not sure if they've had another car during some one-off races or what. I'd imagine not, but either way, they've got a pretty big operation going this season and are still managing to have some good pace. So shout out to Hydra, having a great year with Shade Eves and Jack Halleck, Cole Baker, Edward Ziemba. That whole bunch has just had a really, really good year in terms of the Hardee's National Series and consistency. But yeah, I don't know. There's not really much to talk about throughout the field. Daniel Day is leading here, is continuing to pull away from Jack Port. Not much has really happened in terms of the race here. Jacob Hart, really the only one gaining position throughout the pack, and Logan Cloud as well making a dent into the top 10. Cole Baker getting around some of these guys. Shearer has fallen off in the long run outside the top 10. He's in 13th place. And ooh, the caution flag is out. Not really sure what the caution's out for. There's no wreck on the racetrack and well, either way, the caution, it looks like it's for Sean Angel. Sean Angel's had a problem on the racetrack. We'll get to you and show you what happened to the 44, but the caution is now out here at Pikes Peak here on lap 31. Let's go to the replay. Angel was running 16th at the time, and the car just goes on him right there. And He ends up stopping on the racetrack, which causes the caution flag. He couldn't get the pit road in time, and, well, as a result, they couldn't keep him out on the racetrack. So AFRT Dodge goes up in smoke in turn number 1 and brings out the caution flag here. Very lucky that nobody hit him, actually. That was super close. We're getting a report that something has happened to the 42's engine, and there it goes. Right as the pace car lights go out, or the FBRL official's going to let it go green with the leader blowing up like that. They're going to let people pass. We're going to go green this time. Daniel Day falling down the order. The race leader having an issue. And that's a big heartbreak for Texan Motorsports and Daniel Day, trying to go for his second win of the year. And it looks like it is not meant to be. The green flag is going to come out. Jack Porkins is leading, but I believe the caution flag is going to come out immediately because Daniel is stopped on the track. They're going to race back to the line per FBRL rules, though, and Bobo Jones is going to take the lead away from Jack Porkins. Austin Miller trying to take it 3 wide for third place on Diego Yepes and Jacob Hart, and he's going to make it stick into turn number 3. Austin Miller trying to go down the inside for third place, and Bobo Jones is going to take the lead away from Jack Porkins. Coming to the caution flag. No replay needed for that incident, and that was just... I don't know why they didn't just throw the caution flag and extend it. But they race back to the line, and Bobo Jones is now the leader of the race. Austin Miller has gotten up into third. Jack Porkins losing the lead. As the top 3, Yepes and Hart rounding out the top 5. We'll get you back to the restart here very shortly, but what a turn of events here at Pikes Peak. And this race is just completely flipped on its head. With Bobo Jones leading this race, this makes this probably the worst possible championship scenario for Kev Shearer in the number 0. Kev is back here in 24th or 25th. He just pitted, but if the race were to finish this way, and if something were to happen to Kev, as the green flag comes out, this would be awful for his championship run. Let's see if he can rebound any points. But Bobo would be getting a full almost 50 points. If he leads the most laps, he might get 50 points. And Austin Miller down the inside of Jack Porkins up into second place. The Flipside's motorsports car is flying out here on the racetrack. And up into second, Miller goes. Bobo Jones leading the race into turn 1 in lap number 42. Jack Porkins going to try to take that position back as Miller washes way up the track. Doesn't even get to the inside of the corner. Just pushing it way too hard up here in the number 18. Trying to make the most of what he can. But he can't do that with burnt up tires, Austin. The 77 trying to go down the inside of Miller. It's not going to work though. Yepes trying to make something work. Brand new tires. Everybody's pretty gripped up and fast, so they can make the outside line work. Just like Scott Roush is doing, getting around Shade Eves right now. Or actually defending from Shade Eves, but either way getting around him because Eves was almost past him. Williams down the inside of Eves now and letting Scott Roush clear him. Logan Cloud up here in almost the top 5. Actually, he is in the top 5. And this is a really, really good run for the Roush family cars. And wow. There's a lot of different people up here inside the top 10 today. Cole Baker. He has not had his fair share of top 10s this year, but he's just been on a really, really good stretch of runs, getting the pole at Homestead and running inside the top 10 there. Having another good run for this Hydra team, the number 84. He's going to Cup for CBM2 next year. Or CB2 Motorsports next year. Just doing just showing off why he's going to be in Cup Series. He's just having a really, really good run. Running around his teammates actually right now. He's going to best all of them. So Cole Baker up into, I believe that is 8th place. Bobo Jones in the lead. Jack Porkins following suit back to the 1-2 it was on the restart. Miller in third. He's falling way back from the leaders, though. It looks like these guys are kind of going to be in their own zip code. And Bobo Jones continuing to just have pace for Rodriguez Racing. Trying to make a late season charge at this championship. Bobo, he's really got nothing to lose if he goes out there and just tries his hardest, and the most he can get out of it is a championship. Rodriguez Racing, they sit third in points in the Sony Cup Series as of right now. Before the Cup race at Rockingham, that is. And they're second in points in the Hardee's National Series. So they've got a pretty good chance, if some wild stuff happens, that they could win both championships. That would be absolutely insane for that team, but you never know. Anything can happen. We're going to go check up on how Kev Shearer is doing, seeing if he's moving up through the pack, and yes, he is. Up to 18th on the outside of Noah Hart, trying to get by Will Goss. Seems like they've just been kind of trying to follow Srigley up through the field, because Srigley was mired back in the 20s earlier. But he has clawed his way back up to the top 15 by the halfway point in the race. There's, contact between the 8 and the 24. The 8 has significantly had a significant problem earlier, and was stuck on pit road for a few laps. Yeah, a couple laps, and is now about 2 laps down, battling with Ryan Reed on track, but that is not for position. Reed here in 32nd. He's had a few good runs here with the Texan boys, but right now, at least in the halfway point of the race, it is not looking good for the 24, as he is down here in 32nd position. Mitchell Collins standing in the number 5 car as Austin Rogers departed Red Bull Racing early. Just not having a good day. He's running with his teammate and beating him, so that's about as much as you can really ask for someone who's just kind of standing in, but not really the day Red Bull would have wanted out of Mitchell, because they know what he can do in a Sony Cup car, qualifying in that Onjado car. Aria Cremona sitting back here with Glenn Mixon, Hans Mueller, and Jeff Bolton. Jeff Bolton came in off of Provo. We haven't seen him in a while in this series with the Freeze Canada Racing team running back here in the field. I think they're just happy to make the race, but they'd like to be running a little bit better. But 35th for the number 82 team, not too terrible. As we just did a checkup on a few people, and checking back up on the lead. Looks like there's a battle. Jack Porkins is getting real close to the number 9 car. As we get later on in the run, we'll see some of these guys starting to pass the guys who aren't really as quick and are just kind of really short run cars. We're up here on strategy. The number 18 car being one of those cars, getting hunted down by Scott Roush. Roush just trying to make everything happen this season, going for wins. It's not really the season he would have liked, but he still had some good results and a couple wins to show for here and there, so I'm sure Roush and CM would have liked to get a lot more out of this season, but he's going to try to get by this number 18 car and try to go for the win here at Pikes Peak, and that's really all that matters today. Corey Williams trying to get away from this big swarm of cars, because Hannah Allen is all over him. Diego Yepes looking like he's struggling with his tires. Just a little bit, not too much, but Shade Eves looking like a hungry bull trying to take that position away from the number 77. Noah Hart down the inside. The number 74, Matt DeLeo. D&Q pretty recently, but he's actually up here fighting for the top 10. And William Brock, I'd say he had a pretty sloppy run at Atlanta, but they're managing to get their pace together again. And Kev Shearer, the points leader, taking him 3 wide. Down the inside, he's going to take the position. And Kev Shearer going to take away, I believe that was 13th. Yeah, it was 13th, excuse me. I just saw an update. I don't know why I didn't see that, but either way, I don't know if he's going to try to take it 3 wide again. making his nose the scariest thing in the Hardee's National Series field, as he's just poking down the inside of everybody, trying to make moves and get around everybody, saying, beep, beep. I need to get through, guys. It's like a traffic jam back here towards the top 10. And Shearer is just trying to get through. Shearer trying to get by the 71 into 11th place. It's going to be 2 spots in the same lap, and there he goes. I believe he's going to clear him. A 4. Not quite, but the 71, he's not close enough to definitely make a move, that's for sure. And the 0 of Kev Shearer up into 11th place. As we approach lap 60, it's a bit later in the run. Logan Cloud all over the 18. Scott Roush got around him and is trying to close down on the leaders, which he successfully has done so far, getting a few tenths away from Miller and closing a couple tenths off on the leaders. And Bobo Jones and Porkins have just had an intense battle, really bumper locked the whole entire race. And man, this has been a really, really close battle to watch the entire race and keeping me on my toes, that's for sure. And Porkins just poking down the inside. It's looking like the 41 is better, but the 9 is just managing to keep it in front of the 41, and that's really all that matters. Pit stops are going to come up pretty soon here. So if the 9 can stay ahead of the 41 for that cycle, that's going to be really, really important for the end of the race. Because after this next stop, I don't believe they're going to have to pit anymore. Porkins down the inside into turn number 1. And he's going to make it stick. He's going to send it down the inside. He's going to clear him by the exit of 2. And the 41 is leading here at Pike's Peak. The 3 car closing in as they battle. He wants to see them battle even more, but it looks like the 41 is just so much better. Already pulling a gap on the number 9 car. Pulled a couple tenths and might pull a couple more. By the exit of the corner, the 41 of Jack Porkins, showing some speed for Curtis Racing. This very colorful TikTok machine looks good out front. And I'm sure he wants to win this race so bad with the pace that he's got with this car. We don't really see Jack competing for the wins that much in the Hardee's National Series, but when he does, it is always really nice to see him up here. So Jet Porkins for the number 41. Having a really good run, staying ahead of Bobo, pulling a couple more tenths ahead of him into the pit stop cycle, excuse me. And it looks like the 41 is just running away with it. Coming up to the pit cycle, Jones really is not making any dent into the 41's lead, and Scott Roush has not gained a tenth of time ever since he got closer to him from battling, and the 41 has been so consistent. It's just a matter of who's going to get the undercut out of this top 3. And who's going to be more successful. Noah Hart has been making a lot of moves, a lot of different people in this race, and I believe he's probably made the most overtakes today, because Noah has just gotten up into 4th around Austin Miller, Hannah Allen in P6, Shade Eves in 7th. Srigley up into 8th, climbing his way back up from being a little deeper in the field early on. BBJ, 9th place, and Jake West rounding out the top 10. As they're coming down pit road, Joseph Srigley and others are coming down the 39 in pit road. The 9 as well, being the first car down pit road, and I saw Scott Roush come with him as well. Shearer already in pit road, same with Williams. Porkins coming down pit road. Noah Hart, I believe he's going to stay out an extra lap, maybe a couple laps, who knows. These Fisher Motorsports cars, no matter where they qualify, what they do, they can win pole or start last. These guys are always in the mix in the Hardee's National Series, and I bet they wish they could take it to cut, but either way, I bet they're just happy that they're consistently up front in any series, and Well, Noah Hart just showing why he's one of the better drivers in FBRL. In this salmon pink Dairy Queen Toyota Supra. Leading the race so far. It's only pit cycle, but I'm sure there's a reason why he's staying out so long. As we're going to go back and look at where Jack Porkins comes out. He's going to come out. I'm not sure where he's going to come out. Oh, he's going to come out behind Bobo, I believe. Yes, he is. And oh, that was really close. And oh, he's going to beat Bobo out of pit road. Jack Porkins leading the race. He's going to beat Bobo Jones out of pit road. But Jones going down the inside. The undercut worked and his tires are already up to temperature. Going down the inside of the number 41. Into turn 1. Just got about a quarter of the race left. Bobo Jones taking the lead away from Jack Porkins. And Jones, he's looking like he's actually a lot faster than Porkins this time around. Looks like they have adjusted whatever was wrong with the 9 to where they couldn't keep up with the 41. So Bobo Jones leading the race here at Pikes Peak. Scott Roush continuing to race in third, getting around his slower teammate in the 8 of Brandon Crasta. But Roush in third trying to close the gap to the leaders. We'll see if they adjusted anything that was wrong with the 3. Or if this is all the 3 cars got. Logan Cloud. P4 ahead of Austin Miller and Kev Shearer. Shearer doing an undercut has gained a lot of positions on a lot of guys. And I believe he is up into provisionally 6th place right now as we just saw Noah Hart coming out of pit road. Peter Onjack being the last car out. And he is down in pit road as well. So the field will cycle out pretty soon. Bobo Jones going to assume the lead with just a little more than 20 laps to go. Done an amazing race. Was just a little slower than Daniel Day. When Daniel Day, before he blew up, he was just right there on him. And as soon as that happened, that just gave a chance for Bobo to lead the race. Sure, he's not having the day that Bobo would have wanted him to have, as Miller is dropping down the order really quickly. This is not the day Bobo would have wanted Kev to have, but he's still going to gain about 10 points on him if this is how it stands. And if something were to happen in the final race at Homestead and Bobo Jones were to win and get 48 points, he'd be 45 back. So he has a mathematical chance of winning the championship as it stands. Right now, Shearer is just hoping he can keep 5th place and probably get up to, or he's up into 4th now, excuse me. He'd probably try to get up to Scott Roush if he can. For 3rd place, that would be a lot better and would probably clinch him the championship. But if he finishes anywhere below, I believe, 4th or 5th place today, and Bobo wins, this gives Bobo an outside shot at the championship going into the final race of the season. So things are getting interesting with 20 to go. We got to watch this battle. It's going to be very crucial to the championship. The battle between Hannah Allen in the Rodriguez racing car and Kev Shearer. This is Bobo's teammate behind Kev, so this could be very interesting. They're probably telling Hannah to go full push right now. And that IK9 Supra just looking down the inside of the 0, trying to make a move. She's going to try to go for a dive into turn 1, and she's going to get down his inside. Shearer going to get past for 4th place. This is crucial for the championship. And like I said, anything can happen. The final race, Kev could get in a wreck on lap 1, and Bobo could lead every lap and win the race. And that's Bobo's championship right there. And even if not, and Shearer finishes mid-pack even at Charlotte, It's championship done for him. So it's not all over, but it's really not all over. It's not, nothing's guaranteed in this series. And I think this championship is proving that little by little. Wrigley up here in 11th place, trying to get by RJ Bishop. Not really that close. Jack Hallett getting around Logan Cloud. Noah Hart staying out for so long is now gaining all the ground that he lost back. He's on the newest tires in the field besides the 6 Peter Onjak, but he's definitely got the newest tires in the top 10, that's for sure, by about almost 10 laps. And Noah just continuing to be consistent every single week, knocking off good results. Not leading the championship, but he's not in a terrible position in the championship either. So I'd say this has been a really successful season for Noah Hart. Trying to get 6th place away from Austin Miller. He's been consistent all year. I believe he's got the most top 5s or top 10s out of everybody. I could be mistaken though and getting it confused with somebody else. But either way, Noah has done a very good job this season. Battle for the lead's kind of stalemated. Scott Roush is closing in very, very closely. I think that kind of contradicted itself there, but either way, he is getting closer to the leaders. I believe these guys burned their stuff up battling with each other, because there is no possible way that these two should just be sitting where they are. Considering that I believe Jack pitted 3 laps later than Bobo. That's a decent difference at a short track. Especially when you're pushing the way that they are for the lead. So either this is some really good tire management going on from one of these two, or they have pushed it insanely hard and Scott Roush is going to capitalize on one of them going slower than the other and try to take the lead. So all it takes is one battle and Scott Roush is going to be right there. It's going to be 10 laps to go in just a couple laps, and that is about crunch time for these guys. And Bobo Jones just continuing to keep the lead and keep everything steady up front here at Pikes Peak. This is crucial for the championship right here. Kev Shearer is getting hounded by Noah Hart in the Fisher Motorsports Toyota, but he's just looking way faster than the 0 and the 12. Going down the inside in the number 0 into turn number 1, and it's looking like it's going to stick. This is going to make it to where Bobo Jones is going to be closer to Kev Shearer in the championship. If Shearer finishes below 5th, I believe Bobo Jones is within 45 points. Because he has led the most laps today. I believe he'd be within 45 points of Kev Shearer. Which means the championship is not over if Bobo wins today. Jack is really, really close. Roush has not lost a 10th. But Jack is really, really, really close to the 9 car. Just trying to make something work into turn number 1. But the 9 and the 41 just look so evenly matched. They're so fast that I don't know if they could even make a move right now. The tires are old, and the championship has probably aged these guys by a couple of years in the cockpit, and just due to all the stress. And I don't believe Kev Shearer is going to be anywhere close to getting that position back from Noah Hart. Because Hart's going to try to take that position away from Hannah Allen right in front of him. Getting to 4th place. He's on 10 lap newer tires than Hannah Allen. So I think this battle is already done. If Noah had a few more laps, he'd probably be in a spot to win the race today. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. And the race is only 100 laps. So Noah is going down the inside of the 17. And he's going to try to take 4th position away. As the leaders I don't want to take an eye off these guys in the last few laps because this is really, really important for Bobo Jones and his championship fight for Rodriguez Racing. This 9 car, they're lucky and they're unlucky and they're fast and then they're not fast. Just all sorts of things happen into this car all the time, but they've managed to get a season together to get close enough to Kev Shearer and to make a title challenge at him. With 2 laps to go, Bobo is pulling the gap. And I don't know. Oh, wow. Scott Roush is insanely close to the number 41. Roush going to try to make a move on the Curtis racing car. And CM versus Curtis, a classic battle in the Hardee's National Series. These guys work very closely together, but they're just also as fierce rivals on the racetrack. White flag for Bobo Jones on the racetrack, and we got a battle here for second place. Scott Roush all over the back bumper, the 41. Trying to make something work, but I don't know if he's going to be close enough. Coming into turn number 3. And to keep our eyes on this for a little bit. But Bobo Jones has his eyes on the prize. Coming out of turn number 4, Bobo Jones is going to win here at Pikes Peak. And he's going to close up the championship ever so much. Just enough to give him a shot. I really enjoyed commentating this race, and I can't believe this season's almost over already. It feels like it's just flown by so far. As the results in Burnout are going to be on your screen here. Hope y'all enjoyed the race, and hope y'all have a really good day out there, and keep being safe and doing your thing. And I'll see you guys for one more week this season. The Hardee's National Series. Have a good rest of your day, guys, and take care.